Fighters, today on Contractor Fight TV, I'm going to address a concern many of you have. And that address is simply, Tom, I hear what you're saying with pricing and selling your work at a 50% gross profit, but you don't understand my situation. There's no way I can do it. Well, guys, today I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can price and sell your work at least at a 50% gross profit and help you make some bank. Let's go. All right, we hear it all the time. I can't do this in my area. I can't do it because of the illegals or the unlicensed guys, or you don't know my competitors, or I got cheap customers. Well, let me get this out of the way quickly before we get into the education of today. All right, the number one reason that you're not pricing your work at higher margins and selling your work at higher margins is, anyone? Anyone? It's you, motherfucker. Okay, it's that simple. It's you. You haven't leveled up your skills. That's a problem. You got your mind all jacked up. It's in your keister. Your brain is actually in your keister from your past baggage in life and your upbringing around money and value and all those other things. You are screwing up your business, so you need to work on that shit right away, right now, before you do anything else. Shit or get off the pot. Now, once you get that out of the way, all right, and get your head right, and you believe that it is possible, I can do this, you remove the doubts, and you plant your flag on the concept that you're going to make what you're worth, then you can get into a couple of these tactical things that I'm going to show you here. All right, so hopefully you got your head out of your ass. Let's go to the board. All right, first way that you can price your work, which we've talked about all the time on this channel, is you double your cost of goods sold, your direct costs for the job. So if labor costs you $1,000 to produce the job, if material, just for the math, cost you $1,000, and let's say permits, rental equipment, and other shit like that cost you $500, that should be $500. Last I checked, 1,000 and 1,000 and 500 is 2,500 bucks, my friends. And what you do with that is you multiply that times 2, and you sell the job at least $5,000. That's just the simplest way to do it. It's simple. However, some of you are going like, well, dude, my material costs are through the roof. Customers know what this shit costs. They can look online. They could call a vendor. They know that the cabinets are, $20,000 and I'm charging them $40,000 for the materials, and it just jacks with my head and shit like that. All right, blah, blah, blah. The second way that you can price and sell your work at a 50% or better is what I call a blended multiplier. Instead of multiplying labor and material by 2, you would raise your multiplier on your labor, which you should be doing anyway. In fact, side note here, your labor multiplier should be at least a 2.5 or a 3. All right, mine was never less than a 3. So if a guy costs you 20 bucks an hour, you should be charging at least 60 bucks an hour for that guy. I'm not going to get into all overhead recovery and all that stuff. It's not the purpose of this video. All right, so a blended multiplier works like this. If your labor, let's say, is $1,000, okay, and your material is $1,000, I might multiply this times 2.5. I might multiply this times 1.2. And the blended, when you figure that $2,000 up times all that multiplier, you're going to get right around a 50% gross profit. So you can blend it. You could work with it. So if you buy cabinets for 20,000 bucks, all right, let's say 10,000 bucks for the ease of math here on the fly, times 1.2 would be what? 12 grand. So instead of charging 20 grand for the cabinets, you're charging 12 grand for the cabinets. And say your labor for those cabinets is 3,000 bucks times 2.5, you'd charge 7,500 for that. So you'd basically make about 67% on the labor portion, and you'd make a smaller gross profit on the materials. And when you blend those babies together, you got at least a 50% gross profit. All right, the third way that you can price and sell your workaleros, that's Spanish for work, by the way. I know it's really trabajo, okay, back off. All right, is to do a labor-only job, okay, where you just go, and we would do this on occasion, guys. I would go to my vendor, and let's say my vendor was giving me a 30% off as a contractor, right? And sometimes if I wanted to just make sure I was making more money on the labor, be more competitive on the overall job. Maybe I had some time to fill and I had a big crew that I had nowhere to go and I wanted to play ball a little. I would go to the customer and I'd say, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let you work directly. We'll do the takeoff of the materials and all that stuff. I'm just going to have you pay my vendor directly. See, guys, then that money's never going through my company. It's just the customer's paying the vendor. All right, my vendor loved it because instead of a 30, they'd go direct to him and maybe they'd get 15 to 20% discount instead of the contractor 30. And so the vendor's happy because they're actually making more profit on the same job. I'm happy because my labor multiplier was at least a 3, so I'm making like a 67% on the job. And the customer's happy because they're paying direct and they feel like they're getting a deal, which they are. All right, so before you get all bent out of shape about how you can't price and produce and sell your work at a 50% gross profit, you guys got to be masters of the money. You got to understand how math works. All right? That combined with what I said at the top of this video about getting your head right, getting it out of your ass, and believing you can do this. Yeah, motherfucker, I'm super proud of you. Those two things working together, it's going to change your damn financial family tree for generations. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here today. Don't forget to subscribe, share with another contractor, and for God's sake, win the moments. Live unafraid. Play to win. Okay? No days off. Always on the attack. You guys rock. I gotta roll.